Hi, Mr. Brown.
Hey, how are you?
It's so good to see you again.
again.
Good to see you. And wow, and we begin today, let's talk a little bit about all the wonderful things. I just want to say to you, wow, our last visit was great. Not only our discussion, but I think we have, and I really appreciate the follow-up emails you sent me, and I really want to say I'm enjoying this. And one other thing that I do want to say about the coaching process, I shared with you how many years of experience I've had as a school administrator, but part of this process that is so really affirming for me is that I'm learning so much. I've never had this kind of experience in a school like Valley Academy, and I certainly appreciate your leadership and your commitment to this STEM-focused school. And so I do want to say that if you're learning anything through this process, you're not the only one. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate your commitment. And just to begin, and I know you've already emailed me and said you can't wait to get out in classrooms again today, and we'll certainly do that, but like we discussed before, I think it's good for us to have the time for some conversation at the beginning. As we did our walkthroughs last time, let's just say 9 out of 10, I could tell you were so pleased with what you saw, what the students were doing, and you were true to your word and having those conversations with students. And one thing I do want to tell you that I noticed, and I visit a lot of schools, but unfortunately, some schools, when the students see their principal walk in, it just feels like they don't have a relationship with their principal, or like, what's he doing in here, or he never comes in our classroom. And I certainly do not find that feeling here at all. And I know you're in and out of these classrooms, like you said, on a daily basis, and you're to be commended for that. But I know we went in the one classroom, and I know we talked at the end of the visit that you were a little bit frustrated or concerned at the very least about what was going on in the classroom. And you said that you were going to take some time to reflect and think about that, and think about how you were going to handle it, because that wasn't typically what you see from that teacher. And I believe, if I remember correctly, you were saying that you all had just had some staff development recently, and you just felt like she really wasn't embracing that, and you felt it was having a negative impact on the students. So talk to me a little bit about your reflection and about what has happened since then, and really what your plan is, where you're going to go next with her.
Well, again, in a smaller environment, a lot of times it's easier to address these issues than when you have 100 teachers. I have 15. So at the end of the day, we had one. Obviously, you can tell I wasn't happy, reflected about it. She is a first-year teacher here. I'm asking her to do a lot, and what I mean by that, I'm asking her, she's coming from a traditional high school. So I'm asking her to have a STEM focus, project-based learning, and let kind of loosen up the reins, and kids have to dictate the learning in class. So sometimes that is frustrating for teachers who are not used to that environment. So like any teacher, when we have something like that, I try to treat them like, okay, what do I do if I have a student that's failing? Because again, I feel like that's my responsibility as the principal, as the instructional leader here. What interventions and safety nets do I have in place for my teachers? Instead of just getting mad and saying, okay, you didn't do A, B, C, and D, and you got to go. What can I do to try to work with them to improve their instructional habits in that classroom? We did had a very candid conversation with her, told her, look, I noticed this, I saw this, I wonder if we could do this better, which led to a lot of reflection on her part. And I tell her, I tell all of our teachers, reflection is the most important thing we can do in this field that we're in. If it didn't work today, then how can I make it work tomorrow? So I think she got the gist of what I was trying to say. I noticed since I've been back in there, things have been better. Are they where I want them to be? Absolutely not. But I'm seeing some improvement. And I talk all the time with my younger teachers, I don't expect you to know everything and be the best teacher in the building, but what I want to see is every time I come in there, I want to see some improvement. So it was probably a good time to have that conversation with her, which led to a lot of good things so far. Again, we're not where we need to be, but we know that, and we have a plan in place, and we're trying to grow her.
Okay, well that sounds very positive. What is going to be your intention going forward? So you said, I think I hear you saying that you've seen her make some improvement. She's not where you want her to be next, but that's not surprising because she is new here, so it sounds like you're taking all factors into consideration. But have you thought about what your plan of action is gonna be going forward with her?
Absolutely, and already started that. So one of the things that makes us unique, we do have a project-based learning coach. So I've asked my project-based learning coach to get with her immediately, start fine-tuning some of those projects, see what we can do to improve them. That's the first layer, or the first intervention that we have. Again, I've seen some improvement here in the last couple of weeks. If I think we're sliding back or not, then we're going to probably have to sit down, and then we're going to have some conversation, and I would probably write out a plan at that point and say, this is what I need from you at this point. I won't say it's an action plan, but it just, for me, an early intervention plan that say, okay, we're struggling in these areas, this is what we have to address to get better.
Okay, all right, well, it sounds like you've really given that a lot of thought. Do you have any other teachers that you're concerned about right now? As we walk through the day, is there anything specific that you want us to look at?
Well, I think for the most part, all of our teachers do what I ask them every day. But I still have one, I'm going to be honest, coming in, and again, being the second year, you try to create that vision, that mission for the school. I'm not sold that they're 100% on my team. They're still going to do everything I ask them to do, but I don't know if they really see that vision. And, I reflect and think about that all the time. How do I get that person on my side? Or is it time, to address that? Let's say, hey, if you can't get on board with where we're trying to do, maybe this isn't the place for you. So that's a conversation here in the next couple months I'm going to have with them, and really look to see what I can do to get that person on our team.
What kind of criteria do you use? You said you think that you've identified with one teacher or maybe one or two that they're not on your team or they're not on board. How do you know that? What kind of criteria do you use? What kind of signs do you look for?
I think a lot of it, just when you do this long enough, it's intuitive. You really sit there and you see them nod, shake their head, and say yes. But when you take the whole scope of things and when you're in the classroom every day and you see what they do consistently, you just get that feeling that, maybe they're just not seeing the path that I want to go down. So I don't know if there's one thing that a lot of times it's just what my impression is and my gut feeling that I have about that teacher.
Well, let's go visit some classrooms and see what we can see.
All right,
Thank you so much.